Hey guys, Dr. Sandal here, talking about breaking the boundaries of mainstream medicine. I wanted to start up a little bit of a series talking about biohacking. Many people have heard of that term. There's also a lot of people who haven't heard of that term. Biohacking is a really fascinating way to think about human health. And I think it's very germane, very important to think about other philosophies of medicine. And that's very much what biohacking is. Biohacking is a systems analyst or computer science or engineer's view of human health, hence the term biohacking. It's kind of a joke, thinking about how you might hack a computer or something. They think about the body in that fashion. Now, obviously, all of my listeners are going to already have this contention and know the human body is not a computer. It's not that simple. We are this whole integrated piece. But nonetheless, the sort of systems biology approach, the sort of computational science pulled over into thinking about biology is very valuable, very interesting, and it leads to a lot of cool insights. So biohacking became popular in Silicon Valley, no surprise, with a bunch of these tech guys and gals who were trying to figure out, how do we get more efficiency out of ourselves? A very reflective practice. And they began to determine that there were a lot of ways that they could improve their health, their executive function, because a lot of these people were CEOs of big companies, and they were just going, hey, how can I get more out of this? And so it's been absolutely fascinating to see what that's grown into. And this has just been a totally different style or philosophy of medicine, if you will, that has kind of added into the melting pot. And I think that's great. The more that we can challenge the central dogmas of medicine, the faster that medicine is going to progress. And that's really valuable. So biohacking does often take this approach of thinking of the human body like a computer system. And they say, oh, hey, I want to upregulate this function. How do I turn this on more? Or how do I control this function? And it ends up oftentimes being a lot of really cool, straightforward, easy to do techniques, hacks, if you will. And a lot of these have really broken into the mainstream. You guys have already heard about a lot of these. And many of these originated in Silicon Valley from these, tech CEOs who were like, how do I get a little bit more out of this? Things like intermittent fasting, that came from the biohacking community. Things like cold plunges, that came from the biohacking community. Even sauna to some degree. Now, for the discerning customers out there, you guys might be going, yeah, those have been around for ages though. If you look at Ayurveda or you look at traditional Chinese medicine, yeah, that's true and that's totally valid. But also, I credit the biohacking community with kind of reinvigorating those concepts, saying like, hey, these are real. And because they're all very scientific minded, although they're not MDs or PhDs in human biology, they're very scientific minded in their own fields. And so they're able to bring a lot of new validation to these things, which is really exciting to see. Really cool. So biohacking is this fascinating other resource for people who are looking to improve their health. Anyone who hasn't heard of biohacking before, I highly recommend you check it out. There are tons of influencers and bloggers and stuff who talk about biohacking. And what I'd love to do for you guys is just kind of accumulate some of the coolest techniques, some things that you can do in your daily lives, some concepts you guys might have heard of that are becoming trendy, and just give you guys a bit of a deeper dive on all that. So I'll see you for that next.